Am I the asshole for telling my son to get over it? Okay, I like that one. Exercise. Wait, sorry. English is not my first language. My wife and I tried for a baby for a long time, but couldn't have one. We finally decided to adopt, and we adopted a 12-year-old boy. Jared, fake name. Of all the fake names you could choose, you've chosen one heavily loaded with a. Could I just get you to not? Okay, Kevin. Let's call him Kevin S. Okay, our adopted son Jeffrey E. My wife and I tried to have a baby, but eventually we decided to adopt. We'll use a fake name to protect the innocent. Let's call him OJ. Let's call him T. Bundy. Also, I admit that as Jared was our first child, we have no idea how to be parents. We were more strict, like early curfews, being a little overprotective and things like that. Okay, honestly, to go from not having a kid to getting a 12-year-old is like a Nathan Fielder experiment. Like you're supposed to ramp up like every day. The parenting changes a little bit and you change in response to the growing demands and the changing restrictions, right? To just get a 12-year-old like handed to you, that's tough, man. I don't think any parents out there are like, the ideal age. When did I have the best relationship with my child? Probably like right when they started being a teenager, essentially. Right when puberty hit, they really mellowed out, and then that's so I have some sympathy for that. I'm not just trying to poke fun at it. I'm just saying there's a certain amount of sympathy that you gotta have for that. With Jada, we had more experience and didn't make those mistakes. Wrong. You had no experience from 0 to 12. You don't have to give the parameters you need for a 12-year-old is much different than the parameters you need for a newborn. Oh, Jada, don't swear so much. You know, it doesn't. I don't think you can just transfer that. I don't have a 12-year-old. I know, but I'm assuming it's different. I mean, if I'm still changing my 12-year-old's diapers, then who am I going to tell them to get over it? Jared keeps complaining about how unfair it is that Jada has a better life. We apologized and told him we wish we could give him a better life, but things were different back then. Today, he was at our home and Jada was telling him about her boyfriend. And he said, "You have a boyfriend? I wasn't allowed to have a girlfriend when I was your age. 16 years ago. Get over it?" Yeah, you know why you should say get over it, honestly. Wait a minute. We'll just wait for it. Edit. I called Jared and told him we'd love it if he would come on a trip with us. He said, "I don't want to come. I can go to trips by myself." I don't want to come on your trip, mom and dad. I can go on my own trips like a big boy. Why is he the asshole? Why is the dad the asshole? I've got to know because the flare said asshole. Like, what is he supposed to do? Get a time machine? And please don't tell me that this is gonna be like the top post is gonna be you've got to make the situation financially whole. Anytime you take your 14-year-old daughter, if you buy your 14-year-old daughter back to school supplies, your 30-year-old son should get a dividend paid out from the family to the exact same amount of the value of the school supplies you purchased. You're the asshole. Why didn't you include him in the trip? You need to be more sensitive to your older son's feelings instead of calling him names and telling him to get over it. Sounds like you definitely favor your bio daughter over your adopted son, and he knows it. Doesn't he have other shit going on? I'm sorry. Like he's 30 years old. If one kid was 14 and the other one was like 17, then I'd be like, yeah, that's a dick move. But like I'm just putting myself in the mindset like if my parents had a kid after I went to college and they were like, "Hey, we're taking Jada to Tuscany. Do you want to come?" I would be like, "Well, I got to knock out the damn rent, you know?" I mean, I would love to, but Jada has summer vacation. I got to actually like book the time off. I got Isaac videos to make. Exactly. I got to play Rumbleverse. Hi, I'm 30. And my mom just took me on a trip this summer. We have a big family and couldn't afford trips when she was raising all of us, so now that she can afford it, she does. You're the asshole. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe there's just a cultural or a personality difference here. I can't imagine resenting your parents because they took your younger sibling who is basically part of who's a child. You're an adult. Your sibling is a child, and you're like, "Oh, you're the asshole for not taking me on this trip." It doesn't make any sense to me. Also, yeah, he asked if he wanted to come on trips, and he said, no, I'm a big boy. I can buy my own trips. Soft, you're the asshole. Just get over it has man up vibes. Look, here's the thing 99% of the time, you should not tell somebody to man up. But there's like a 1% situation where you gotta like man up. It's just because it's almost always wrong doesn't mean it's wrong in all situations. Like, you remember the Kitchen Nightmares episode where the lady ordered a hamburger but they ran out of buns, so they served her the hamburger patty on sourdough bread, and then she started to cry because she was like, they don't have any buns. That's a man up situation. You're like an adult, your burger's got the wrong kind of bread. You gotta, I'm sorry, you gotta be able to weather the storm there. I'm giving you a soft, you're the asshole for toxic masculinity. That's fine. But he didn't say man up. He said get over it. And then so it's like, first off, you're the asshole for this thing that you didn't say, but is kind of similar to this thing that you said based on the vibes. Remind him that you chose him. Maybe arrange some stuff for you to do with him. And when he says no, you're still the asshole. Yes, your circumstances have changed. Yes, you can give your daughter the life you want to. Doesn't stop your son from feeling the way he feels. But he's 30 years old. I'm not saying you have to be like an emotionless husk, but you could like be sympathetic to the fact that your parents, your adopted parents raised you when they had lower means, and then now they have greater means, and be like happy for the greater success of the family and the people who chose you and reared you, instead of resenting the fact that like your sister is getting to go to like a Holiday Inn Express. You're the asshole. You shouldn't have adopted a kid when you were in a bad financial position. You should have thought about stuff like this. Before you adopted a child, you should have been like, what if we're poor now, but we get rich later, and we're able to provide for another child, and this child resents us for it? You got to think about stuff like this before you adopt. You don't get to just adopt a kid and toss him out like a practice pancake. What the hell are you talking about? I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to steal practice pancake. That's great. User received gold for this post. Practice pancake. It's not a practice pancake situation. This is like the next 20 comments. This reminds me of when you throw out a practice pancake. One of these days it's going to hit. So much this. People feel like they're entitled to children no matter what, and don't think about if they're capable of raising them. He raised them. He couldn't take them on a trip when he was 14. I don't understand. Did the process of adoption create this financial hardship, or failed rounds of IVF? It's funny how much you try to buy your way into children, the less qualified to support those children you become. Is that funny? Do I need to bust out the dictionary? This has 143 upvotes. Definitely. They said English wasn't their first language. Maybe they live in a place with less scrutiny over adoptions. Or fucking, maybe they don't. Who knows? As long as we're making shit up that could be true or could be false. What the hell are you talking about? You need to man up. I'm not adopted, but I'm the oldest sibling, and I'm taking the tossed out like a practice pancake into therapy with me next session. Please don't. Your therapist is going to lose respect for you. I'm sorry. That I was joking about that one. Normally I say I'm not joking. That time I was joking. I just thought it would be funny. Therapist is going to be like, Jesus Christ, this is like the 8th time you brought up the practice pancake. Please. But SpongeBob typing, but we deserve to be parents. They wanted to call themselves parents. Of course they didn't care about the life they could give to the child. They had to stay in a La Quinta Inn Suites instead of the Marriott. Jared was old enough to last them just a few years till they could have their miracle Jada. They would give her everything they could right after Jared was out. OP, don't forget, you're still a parent even after your kid is 18. If you were regretful about not being able to give him a better life as a child, you should include him now that you can do it. You're the asshole. It's a trip! Is this crazy? Am I crazy? Did they toss him little bread crusts? Hey, Jared, come over for dinner. Here's some gruel. Oh, Jada, how do you like your beef Wellington cooked? It's a trip 16 years later. This kid was 14 in I can't do the math, 2006. Fucking, they didn't even have like a Motorola Razr back then. The world has changed. Did you invite your son on the trip or perhaps save up to send him on one of his own? You're the asshole regardless. Okay, well, then I choose not to answer the question. Crazy 187. You're throwing me a suicide pass here. If you ask me a question and no matter what the answer is, you're going to indict me, then I choose to not answer. You're the asshole regardless for dismissing his frustration because he's 30. You caused the feelings of inadequacy. Just because you didn't have the money then doesn't mean you shouldn't make an attempt to treat him equally now. I completely understand where he's coming from. Seeing the younger sibling get spoiled after being raised by strict, financially struggling parents sucks. It's not his fault you weren't ready to be parents. You do owe him an apology, though, and probably a lot of money for the therapy he needs. Look, I'm not saying you shouldn't. You're a 14-year-old kid has different needs than a 30-year-old man. And different means to meet those needs. Like, I feel like if my parents, like I'm 33, if my parents had a 14-year-old daughter or son, for that matter, I would almost be like, and I guess this doesn't mean that this person is wrong, but I would be patronized. If they were like, we took your sister out to Red Lobster, so we sent you like a gift certificate to the keg. I would be like, Mom, that's not necessary. Maybe I feel that way because I'm an only child. It's hard to put myself in those shoes. Maybe I feel that way because I was parented very well. That being said, I didn't go on any fancy trips. I lived in Kingston, Ontario. Every year we went to Belleville or Ottawa. She was a 2-hour drive. We stayed in a Holiday Inn, and then we ate at chain restaurants that they didn't have in my hometown. Now, it was nice. I had a good time. Maybe I'm just not, as a child, I wasn't as into trips as they were, but still, I mean, maybe it was not so nice of me to have the opportunity to go to Sneaky Pizza and eat pizza rolls in the Quinte Mall that was 45 minutes away from the Cataraqui Town Center, the mall that I normally go to. But still, it just seems, it really sounds like they're interpreting this from like the perspective that like they raised the first child and were like, fuck you, here's some dirt for dinner, eat shit. 18 years old, boom, get out of the house. Wow, look at our precious angel. Wow, oh, you know how I'm going to fuck over my adopted son? I'm going to get like a great job and really elevate my station in life and then use my newfound salary of financial liquidity to provide them the kind of life that I wish I could have provided my first child with. Like we're one dial on the satire meter away from them being like the top comments being like, you should also underprovide for your current daughter. If you really want things to be fair, you should start putting them on like poverty wages again. You should start feeding them maybe like a little cabbage and hot water for dinner every single night. And so think of the 30-year-old man, okay? He's incapable of making himself emotionally whole in this situation. I'm not trying to harp on the guy who, whatever. He can be like upset. Like the 30-year-old man could be upset. I think it's a little juvenile, but I also haven't been through it myself. But I'm harping on the Redditors who are trying to get this dad to like fucking kill himself in Minecraft or something. They're going off on him, saying he's a bad dad. It actually seems like he's doing pretty well, honestly. I mean, he wrote the post, so who knows? But still, I don't know. I don't think that not letting your son date at the same age that you're letting your daughter date now has anything to do with how much money you're making. That shit was fucking 16 years ago. It was 16 years ago. People change. I'm not saying it's a different time. I'm saying the dad is a different man. He's become the second ship of Theseus. He might even be like the fifth ship of Theseus. You have a favorite child, a do-over child, if you'd rather call her that. I'm sure that he wouldn't. You would rather call her that to make the OP look worse. Of course, that's permanently impacted how Jared sees you. The number of people arguing that it's not wrong to do better on the second kid is interesting. The number of people calling me fools, calling me a fool and an asshole for my asshole comment really makes me think. I didn't call OP an asshole. I was very careful not to do that. I said how they've treated their 2 children is the way that an asshole would do that. The way that they're acting now, where they're explaining all the bad decisions they made with Jared as justified because it's over and can't be fixed, yeah, that makes them a huge asshole. Sure, you can't fix what's in the past, but there's not some magic number of times you have to apologize that lets you sweep what you did under the rug. Jared does not have to get over the fact that he had a shitty childhood because of OP. Because of OP, he was adopted at age 12. This shit's driving me crazy, man. I don't know what to say. I'm losing my mind. There's not even a single "you're not the asshole" or like "everybody sucks here." You're the asshole. Wow, OP. Everything about this screams an attempt to conceal favorite child vibes. He's not happy for his sister because he was never treated like this. All this early curfew and overprotection sounds like you became a parent with no prior knowledge, which is very irresponsible. How could you become a parent? How could you become a parent with prior knowledge? And now you've acted extremely dismissive of your son. Okay. He's doubling down to justify his actions in his comments too. He's an asshole bordering on worse. He came here to have his point backed up, but it backfired because he's a douche. A douche. Everyone on Twitch is agreeing with me right now, which is frightening because it means the YouTube comments are gonna be scary as hell. You're the asshole, and it seems like you raised your daughter into a brat. What the? She didn't even play a role in the story. She literally just exists. Envrox. She didn't do anything at all. You can call the dad an asshole. Jada's catching strays. She didn't even do anything. She just went on the trip with her parents. The way you talk, it's we made a good deed adopting a teenager. He should be grateful. But it looks like when Jada came into the picture, she became the golden child, and you pass everything. You pass her everything he never had. What can he do? What can he do? I don't know what you want. I don't understand. I'm sorry. And it's real. I'm not filtering this necessarily through the idea that this guy is 30, so he must be like a Fortune 500 CEO by now. It's just like he's 30, so I expect him to like not openly resent his 14-year-old sister. You can openly resent your parents. That seems fairly normal. But like, you're a grown man being jealous of a teenage girl is like fucking weirdo energy. Can I get one, not the asshole? Oh, let's go! He shouldn't take his resentment out on his sister. Based on this post in your comments, seems like you minimize his feelings pretty often. Everybody sucks here. Let's go! I don't even think he sucks that bad based on what he said, but still. Holy cow. Sane Redditor. Not the asshole because you didn't have money back then. You and your wife adopted him and gave him love and a stable home. You're the asshole. He scared the crap out of me. I got jump scared by the door opening. Oh my God.
I gotta go.
Oh, okay, have fun. Love you. You're the asshole for dismissing his feelings. Of course Jada's on your side. She gets all the benefit of the trial run with your first. Jada's 14 years old. Can you just chill out? She's 14. You're so biased because you're a parent? Yeah, but I'm also a kid. I'm not a child, but I'm somebody's child. I can relate to this like in abstract, not literally though. This is something I can't relate to. I don't understand the middle child, youngest child, like older child dynamic. Younger children, the youngest child is always the one that is treated as the baby. Or, they tried really hard on the oldest child. By the younger child, they were tired of being parents, so they just sent me out in the yard with no supervision. And the middle child, I'm the middle child. Oh, the older one's being disciplined, and the younger one is being showered with attention. Nobody's paying attention to me. They had another kid. Now there's two middle children, and the one that used to be the baby is now also a middle child with me, but I'm also like their older sibling, and then I used to be the baby for a while, but I don't remember being the baby. So when I was getting that resentment from my older siblings were resenting me for getting the attention, I was getting the attention, I got the benefit, but I don't remember that, so I resent my parents for that too. Like I don't know, it strikes me as kind of like Brady Bunch astrology, but I'm not a psychiatrist or an astrologer, so I'm not sure if I fully am qualified to give my diagnosis on that one. I mean, if you raise a kid to age 30 and a big problem in their life is that they resent you for taking their younger sibling who's like a generation younger on trips that they were financially unable to take you on, then I think you've done a pretty good job raising the kid.